Be honest, you've probably thought about it at least once. What would it be like to live in a real castle? Not just in a fairy tale, but in real life. Meet Victoria and Nicholas. And yes, this is actually their home.
It's incredibly beautiful. There are views wherever you look. So one is in this amazing, aesthetically, it's just obviously really pleasing.
This house is a work of art in itself.
Yeah.
And so you're living in a work of art, and then that's always going to be a pleasure.
And the man who first grew up living in this work of art?
It was my great-great-great-great-great-grandfather who built it. And it's come through direct descent all the way.
Castle Howard is tucked away in the northern English county of Yorkshire. The Howard family has been living here for more than 300 years. While they no longer hold a royal title, some of their ancestors did, and they're still watching.
That's the 5th Earl with George Selwyn. That's the 9th Earl and his Countess. My ancestors are all over the place.
But with so many faces on the walls, it's easy to lose track.
Honestly, I have to say to you that I'm not sure who some of the people are.
Do you have a picture of yourself?
No, I don't have a portrait of myself, no. No. I'm too old to be painted now.
But long before he took on the responsibilities of running a castle, this was just home.
Well, it was wonderful, obviously, but I didn't know anything else, of course. So it was only later on in life that I started to compare it to the way that other people lived and realised just how weird it was that I was living in a place like this. But no, it was lovely. I could, in the summer in particular, I would just leave the house after breakfast and go outside. And then somebody would ring a cowbell, a loud cowbell for me to come in at lunchtime. And I'd just been out all morning.
With well over 100 rooms, it's no surprise Nick's favorite keeps changing. Right now, it's this one.
This is the tapestry drawing room, which we've just restored. And we had these tapestries which had been woven for the room when the house was built. It's a very nice room to sit in. And it is lovely being able to see these tapestries again. I've only ever seen them far too high on the wall or in completely inappropriate places.
Nick walks us into their sitting room, hidden in the castle's private wing, where we meet his wife, Victoria. The two got to know each other through friends. They lived in London together before moving here a decade ago. Victoria had not lived in a castle before.
I think one gets used to things quite quickly, but obviously it was quite a shock. A nice shock.
But what's it really like to live in the castle?
I sort of almost pack a handbag in the morning because I don't want to go back to get anything from my room. It's the distances. It's just the distances.
And so in order to go to bed, I had to walk for about 4 minutes. And it did mean that I was doing about 5 or 6 miles a day, even if I didn't go outside.
Long ways to go and many rooms to heat. But when life gives you a ginormous castle, you need to get creative with solutions.
We installed ground source heating. We have coils in the lake down there and compressors up here, which is what creates the majority of the hot water and the heating in the house. And that really cut down the bills.
Besides energy bills and long walks, Castle Howard is not only their home, it's their job. Between March and November last year, over 300,000 visitors passed through these doors 7 days a week.
It's all about keeping a handle on the whole of the business, I'd say.
Well, it's a small business really, but we employ about 200 people, and it is a business. So, and we don't kind of necessarily see a difference between weekends and weekdays that much. There's always people around, so there's no private garden. That I find a little difficult.
It's part of the kind of business, the fact that we are living in the shop. It's not just above the shop, we're actually in it. And it's a 7-day shop. So it's you sometimes feel like you want to get away from people.
So privacy might be in short supply, but when the last visitors leave, the castle finally becomes theirs.
We tend to go out a lot in the evening when the public have gone. We tend to walk the dog then when we have a little bit of privacy. And that view is pretty good.
I didn't know anything other than this when I was growing up. So initially, it was just what life was. But as I got older, I started to realize just what a privilege it was to be living here.
A privilege, a responsibility, and above all, a home. Now be honest again. Would you really like to live in a castle?